Hello, happy Monday morning. Welcome back, Year 4. This is Mrs. Keeley with your PSHE lesson, and we're going to be carrying on our learning journey about disability equality education. And on our learning journey, we have been thinking about what it means to make an assumption. You can reflect on the effect of language chosen to describe someone. I can reflect on ways to get to know someone, and I can think about how to welcome someone who is disabled. So just to recap on that word assumption. Assumptions are ideas people have that are not based on proven facts. So assuming something about someone without really knowing. So you will remember this photograph from last week and these different speech bubbles. He's so cute, I feel sorry for him, I expect he likes wheelchair racing, and look, there is Pedro, he likes Minecraft. So think back, what did we learn about in lesson 1? It was all about assumptions. Which comments have made assumptions? Okay, I feel sorry for him and I expect he likes wheelchair racing. We don't have any facts to base that on at all, okay? We haven't seen the person first. The one I think is not an assumption is, look, there's Pedro, he likes Minecraft. Obviously somebody knows Pedro and they have seen him first, nothing to do with him being a wheelchair user. Okay, does language matter? I'm going to read through the words below these cartoons, and I want you to think about what these words suggest about the disabled person who uses a wheelchair. Faker. Confined to a wheelchair, wheelchair bound, person who uses a wheelchair, and power chair. So I would like you to pause the video here and think about what those words make you think about the person in the wheelchair. Right, well, I hope you paused your video and you had a think. I think language really does matter. The difference between faker on one side and power chair, the term that Sue Austin used to describe her wheelchair, they're very different. They really suggest very different things about the person. Also, confined to a wheelchair and wheelchair bound, that's very negative language. That really makes you sort of think, oh, that poor person is stuck in that wheelchair. They're bound to the wheelchair. It doesn't make you see it as even a positive thing. Person who uses a wheelchair, there we go, it's just a matter of fact. And a power chair, that has much more positive connotations. So we have now got, we've got the same words, but instead of having the cartoons, we have got photographs, okay? I would like you to think about how would it feel to be described like this. What do these words suggest the person can or can't do? Can you spot any assumptions? Which comments see the person first? And does it make a difference seeing a real person and not a cartoon image? So I'd like you to pause the video again, and I'd like you just to have a think about these questions. Right, I think it makes a big difference that we now see the human being. They're not cartoons. Okay, and I think, just like on the last slide, these different words, the language used, has a huge impact on how we see the person. Okay, faker, very negative, doesn't see the person first. And all the way up to power chair, definitely a much more positive word to use. Now, in our school and in every school, everyone has a right to feel safe, feel valued, and to feel very welcome. You will have heard of a disabled people's organisation called Scope, and they have recently found out that sometimes young disabled people feel ignored or left out because other non-disabled young people feel awkward talking to them. Now, mostly this is not because they want to be mean, but mainly it's because it's the opposite really. They don't want to make a mistake. So I'm going to be showing you next a clip from YouTube called End the Awkward. It's quite funny, you will really enjoy watching it, and hopefully it will give you some ideas about how to speak to somebody that is disabled.
But you haven't had this one. Somebody actually wrote on Facebook, my gosh, doesn't she look like Ellie Simmons? They were actually talking about me.
Tell me you know more about my impairment than me. Oh my goodness, this.
My condition's called Osteogenesis Imperfecta, so brittle bones, and people get confused thinking it's osteoporosis. So they go, have you not just tried drinking more milk? Honestly, just drink more milk and your bones will get better, honest. Or cheese. Have a bit of cheese.
Wow. So I always get people like, oh, my friends, cousins, boyfriend's dog had that, and then they died of it.
Have you tried walking? Yeah, I've tried that one actually. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, the only people that know about our impairment more than me is no one. It's me.
Making assumptions about your disability. Yep, that happens a bit, doesn't it?
That happens a lot. People assume that I don't speak. People assume that I speak. People assume that I don't sign. People assume that I sign.
A lot of people assume that I can't drive as well.
Yep. That's my favourite.
Which obviously I can.
When we get placed on the carpet, that was a long drive, mate. I'm like, wouldn't know.
I get people assuming that I'm paralysed because I'm in a wheelchair.
Yeah, heaven forbid you stand up and get out of your wheelchair because you are miraculously cured.
But it's when they kick you or drop things on you and things, you know, that it's like, ow.
I'd like people to just give me the respect and think, this person lives with this condition every day, she probably knows what's best for her.
Ask inappropriate questions that you wouldn't ask. I get, like, where to begin?
Someone says, did you have an accident? I think, oh no, like, what did I do? Maybe I've like cut my face or I look really busy or stressed or something, and what they mean is why you're in a wheelchair. When you know, or you're working with, or your friends, and they say, by the way, or just ask a question, that's completely fine.
Yeah.
But often, like on buses.
I love that the best. Can I ask you? No, you don't know my name. You cannot ask me a personal question.
Being avoided, okay.
That works well.
You feel like people avoid you when you're just trying to be nice to them, and they're just avoiding you because they find you too intense.
When we went to buy our house and the chap would not look you in the eyes, we bought
His
fully...
dogs wouldn't either, they ran away.
His dogs were just judging you.
I've had that quite a lot where the parent sort of guides the child around her back just so she can't see me from that angle, you know, as if like, oh God, no. Say you don't look or act disabled.
I mean, I love my fashion, I go out quite a lot and, you know, kind of enjoy being in London, and people are like, oh, you dress nice considering. Like I'm supposed to be wearing a bin bag or something.
You're quite pretty,
You're
aren't
quite
you?
pretty.
Regardless
Yeah.
of the whole thing.
Didn't imagine that. You look after yourself, don't you? Bless you. Good on you. Good on you. Well done.
So true.
I don't think we look like disabled like how a lot of people see it. We don't have, it's not a physical disability that we have. So.
Well, it's a hidden disability,
Yeah.
so...
I think it's human nature to end up in awkward scenarios.
We're
that you
like the
created
most
yourself.
awkward people ever.
But that's the difference. Don't just be like, don't let it crush you for the rest of the conversation. Just be like, oh, that was completely all over the shop and awkward, wasn't it? And then just bounce off it.
You don't enhance the awkward by getting even more awkward after you've already said something awkward.
Myself in the deep end.
Right, so I hope you enjoyed that video. Some of the top tips from Scope were: see the person, not their impairment. Try not to make assumptions about what someone can or can't do. And if you're unsure, ask, but ask respectfully. So you're going to watch another little film now. You might even recognise the school. You might even know Louisa, but it is St Luke's Primary School and one of their pupils talking to you.
Hello, my name is Louisa and I am 10 years old and I go to St Luke's Primary School. My difficulty is that I am blind which means I can't see anything at all. I like school, but most of all I like playing with my friends. I do everything everyone else does, but in a different way. I write in Braille, which is a combination of 6 dots that make the words and letters. I use a Brailler, which is a machine which makes the dots and words. I also use and prefer the Braille note, which is a computerized Brailler. I use a cane which helps me get around the school. When I go to the canteen, I use a plate guard and a mat to keep the plate in place. I like playing in the playground with my best friends Alice and Lois. I love swimming and sleepovers with my friends. I've got a pen pal who I write to regularly. I go to Textiles Club on a Thursday with Alice.
Therefore, I hope you enjoyed listening to Louisa speak. We've got those top tips from Scope there again. But in the kind of speech bubble as well, what does Louisa like to do? What are her hobbies? Can you remember? And what might someone assume about Louisa and the impact of her disability on the games she plays at break time? Could people make assumptions?
No.
What do you think Louisa told her friends about what she needs to join in with skipping games? What do you think Louisa told her friends about what she needs to join in with playing chase games? Is everyone having fun? Do the adaptions just support Louisa to join in? So, let's have a think about how we can include everybody when we're playing at break time. This is Rudy, okay? He likes Minecraft, he likes playing football, he likes eating bananas. Rudy is also deaf and he wears a hearing aid, and he reads people's lips to communicate. We are going to think about how we could, if Rudy was a child in our class or in our school, how we could make him welcome and how we could make sure that he was able to join in and play in all of our games. So the next thing you will see are some questions that you are going to be thinking about answering. Okay, Year 4, so what I would like you to do for your task is I would like you to have a go at answering these questions. I would be really, really interested to see your ideas. So what friendly questions could you ask Rudy so we know that Rudy is deaf and he wears a hearing aid? What could you ask him? Remember, they need to be respectful. What caring questions could you ask so that Rudy could join in at playtime? What could help Rudy to join in? And why would it be important to check with the disabled classmate that this way of playing is okay? So have a go at putting your thoughts and your answers to those questions and be ready to discuss your answers in our Zoom this afternoon.